I got this a while ago after we did the hand one. We were told to do the feet one, and I never even gave our feet a thought. You know, who thinks about their feet? Very rarely do we, unless we go for a massage or something, or a pedicure or whatever we're doing with our feet. And so I said, well, what's this going to look like? And the message I got was that our feet are code carriers. They shear to the ground because they're the closest on the ground. And so this is why it's very important. Our hands are used for the healing and touching and being able to express with codes. Our feet actually touch the ground and shear into the ground. And that's really important because the feet work like a root system on a tree. So that the light comes out through the feet into the ground like a root system, shears with Gaia, picks up the new energy, draws it back up the roots, up through the bodies and out to consciousness. So we are light carriers, of course, and by seeing it that way, we now understand how we carry it and how we revive our energy and resend it out as a new frequency to the bigger picture of Earth. So it's very important that we always do the grounding. And back in the old ages, that's what they did. They spent many hours grounding. All the old ancient tribes of the world never wore shoes. You always had bare feet. It's the most important part of your existence is to have bare feet. And of course, we were programmed to wear all these new fancy rubber shoes that are so bad. They sweat and create poisons that your feet draw in. And the other thing is, you know, it stopped you from grounding. And we were told as kids that you can pick up hookworm and roundworm and all that with your bare feet. And as soon as you got inside, there was a bucket and a scrubbing brush and scrub the bit dirty feet. And, you know, and you're taking all that energy and codes off your feet straight away. So the information that came through from the gnomes was, well, you're supposed to do feet soaking. You're supposed to soak your feet and anoint your feet. And the highest acknowledgement of respect and honor is to have your feet anointed. And so that's what we're doing today. We're going to get our feet anointed like Yeshua did. Mary Magdalene did him an honor and washed his feet. She bowed down at his feet and washed them. And that's like a high honor of respect because your feet are so important, the way they carry the codes to every step you make. So every time you put your feet down on the ground, you're sharing light. And that is why you see all these big, you know, senior elites kiss the ground when they arrive from the plane, and they, you know, all these popes and things, they kiss the ground because what they're doing is putting their dark codes in, not their light codes. They don't put their feet down, they kiss it, bow down and kiss the ground. And it's the opposite to what our feet are doing.
Mm.
So it's really important to understand that. The other thing I got told about our feet was that it's connected to so many part of our organs, and to go look at the foot map. So get a map off the internet or somewhere like that and just see what part of your feet is connected to which organ. And so what they used to do in the old times was walk on hot stones and walk on uneven surfaces like little flat pebbles and crystals to massage the feet and to massage parts of the body that needed healing. And that's why they always say walk barefoot, because you're massaging the base of your feet, which is, you know, helping all the main organs and parts of the feet that are connected to every area inside your internal body. So they showed me how they do it, the little gnomes, the correct way to get some little crystals, just stand on crystals. Okay, which we'll be doing today. All right, so who did I meet? First of all, Rex came through, and he's a very old, what I would call an old ancient sort of gnome. He was the sort that's been a gnome always from lifetime to lifetime. So if you can imagine his wisdom, you know, his energy, and, you know, he came through with a big heavy book Like, this is the Book of Gnomes. And, he was very informative. And he said, my name is Rex, but I call myself Rexy. So Rexcy. I've had many lifetimes as a gnome. I have old wisdom. I've seen many sites, lands, and traditions. So I've seen many lands, many countries, and many traditions. And it was him that was telling me about the little leprechauns and how they've had to go underground because they were going to be eaten. And so they had to go into hiding. And he said, just wait, as the veil gets thinner, the leprechauns will be seen. I went, oh, good. He told me that, you hear the story of trolls, the grumpy old troll, the troll, this, what was it? There was one, trolls under the bridge.
The bridge. Yeah.
The troll under the bridge. I can't remember how it goes.
The goat that walked across the bridge, wasn't it?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Well, he said the trolls are the dark gnomes. That's why they're called trolls. Hello. Soon ends up, I tell you. So they're kind of like the dark gnomey things. The good gnomes are the ones that look like little dwarfs, like the seven dwarfs, little old men with beards and everything. But there's woman gnomes as well. And they wear bonnets. And so he was telling me about them as well. So yeah, that makes sense because remember you used to get a gnome troll toys. Do you remember the trolls that came out, those toys with the fluffy hair?
Yeah.
They wanted you to play with
they were the service stations, weren't they? The service stations?
That's right.
They have movies. Yeah. They have movies out with trolls too now, and all the younger kids are getting into it.
Yeah, it's dark energy.
Yeah.
So where am I? Oh, okay. So Rexy says feet are balance, harmony. And that's true. If your feet aren't right, you're not balanced. Your body's not in balance. You can't balance, you can't walk properly. And that's why the doctors always check the baby's feet to make sure they aren't curved in or something's wrong with them. Because if there's something, if a flat foot or, they don't always walk properly. And so he said the feet are your balance, your harmony. And it is very telling where a person is in their life with balance by their feet. Read the signs. So you can tell by the way the person walks, the way the person's feet are, the position they're in, and so forth, by what is actually going on in their energy field. So you can read the feet. And that's coming back. He said, people always look at the hands, they look at see if you've got arthritis, and they look at different symptoms with the hands. He said, we're starting to bring that back now where you will read the feet and see what's really bothering them or outstanding. What's going on with them. So quite a lot of people that have issues, being able to be flexible and move forward, they have feet problems because they don't want to move forward. They're stubborn, they're stuck in one place, that kind of thing. So you've got to learn how to read the signs to help people. And, it's the old theory, body language will never, ever die down. It's always a sign to read, whether it's your hands, your feet, or whatever, because it will be a telling sign what's going on with that person. And so this is why they're saying learn how to read the feet. Just really interesting. Watch how people walk. What's their problem? Some are off balance. Some are like that. How they wobble.
Yeah.
Some have got one side longer than the other, and one shoulder's up and one shoulder's down, and so forth. You can start to read them and see what's going on in their lives. And if the left side is down, well, that means their feminine side is off balance. If their right side is down, it means they're masculine, and so forth. So you can sort of see what's going on. Feet are more of a giveaway than any other part of the body. So that's interesting.
Really?
Bare feet is important, standing in nature, sharing codes, and from 4 to and from for oneness. Most gnomes live in the forest or beneath trees for protection. And that's why they run and hide, but they're usually hiding in under the trees somewhere, under the tree trunks. And he said, you know, what happens is they wish in fairy tales and that show you the fairies live in the little doors inside the bottom of the trunk. He said that's the gnomes. The fairies are usually higher up in the trees because they fly. We don't fly.
Makes sense.
So yeah. And it's all about the protection as well, because they're short, they're close to the ground. They have to get out of people's way and out of animals' ways and things like that. Our communion is whistling. Sometimes you think it's the birds and you go, oh, what is that unusual bird? What's that sound? But look down, it's us. So they whistle. We also stomp when walking in rhythm as it brings the frequency of earth back into balance with the frequency of our whistle. So they stomp. So it's balance, it's frequency again. So stomping into the ground as they whistle. Whistle is a frequency. The Godman beings have forgotten to use their feet for feel, balance, coding. Yet so many motions of stomping is still used in practices today. Dance, marching, even walking. Mostly it's used in running. That is why many animals, godmals, gallop with sound. Because they're sharing their codes into the ground and keeping earth in balance. And that's why when you get a herd of elephants running, it's noisy. It's really loud. That's frequency. That's coding. And one example he gave me, and it really freaked me out, and I thought, this is so true, is that if you go to something like the races, so like you go to the horse races and you're down by the field and they're all galloping along, everyone's getting drunk because it's the wrong frequency. Because they're making the animals hurt. They're forcing the animals to perform. So the coding that they're sending into the ground is pain. What are people doing to kill the pain? Knocking the drinks back. See how it works? So he said that is why that kind of sport isn't a sport. It's entertainment. Stomping was used in ancient food preparation, olives. Interesting. Fermenting. And of course, grapes. And sometimes tomatoes, he said, depending on what they're using. So you go back to ancient Greek, you go back to ancient Egypt, you go back to Italy, all that, form of fermenting, making wine, making oils. They used to stomp the olives to make the olive oil. And so that's why it's always so good for you, because it was coated by the stomping on. Stomp, 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 squash, squash, squash,
About nice.
What's that, hum?
It would be squishy and probably felt nice.
It probably did. It was probably healing on the feet.
Yeah.
It was returning codes to and from, like he said. So, you're sharing the coding, because the tomatoes and the olives or the grapes, they all have their own frequency. And I was watching the guy that does the frequency of the fruit and the meditations on the trees. And the most recent one he's done is the apples. And he put the clips on the 2 apples, and the communication was going back and forth between the apples. And that was so the fruit on the trees were talking to each other. They were communicating. So imagine what they're doing in the bucket when you're stomping on them. You're all communicating, sharing codes. Absolutely fascinating. Anointing the feet is also a practice of honor and healing. Most that practice the anointing of feet are very balanced tribes, godmen. Do you think of the old ancient tribes and what they used to do with the feet? They always protected the feet because the feet was their form of transport. And so they used to rinse them and wash them and bathe them in water and go into the rivers and things like that because the water was healing. He said the feet, anointing of the feet are very balanced. Tribes, godmen, rinse your feet in herbs, oils, and salts, the ocean and the rivers for cleansing the frequency and codes of your bodies. So you don't use, not supposed to use soap on your feet. You're supposed to use, as he said, the cleansing of the ocean, rivers, salts, herbs. Because you've got big pores on your feet and it sucks it all in. So if you're using chemicals on your feet, it's sucking it all in. And you only got to go look at those foot spas that we've been doing and how much comes out of your feet from your body waste. Well, imagine how much it's taking in as well. That's why it says use oils, use salts, Epsom salts. You can feel the electrical energy rise through your body, traveling up the legs to the crown and awakening. Bathing in the ocean and rivers need to be a daily practice to bring back balance and moving forward. And that's what we used to do in ancient times. It is a lost self-care ritual that many have forgotten.
Well, be different now because they're cleansing and clearing them. Most of them are all polluted, eh?
And you, if you'll be doing it, you'll just go down to your local river and rinse your feet and have an anointing.
You don't have to worry about pollution.
No, you have sapphire water.
Yeah.
Then Macky comes in. He's a healer. And he was trying to tell me he was a doctor. He knew medicine. And I said, well, I'm a doctor. And he said, you know, what you would call a doctor. And I mean, you mean a healer? And he said, yes, I deal with medicine. Plant medicine. He was the one that told me if you have one more dominant foot that is connected to your mission and through moving through life. So if you have a bigger foot than the other, which a lot of us do have, you'll find one shoe fits better than the other. That's your mission. So if your right foot's bigger than your left, that's your galactic side. If your left side's bigger, that's your more feminine, more angelic side. And so, you know, you're connecting to that mission more because that's what takes you forward through your life, moving forward with your feet. So that's your dominant foot. To measure your feet and just see, is one bigger than the other? I know I used to have that problem as a child, but I think maybe they caught up. I haven't measured them, so it would be a good exercise to do. He said, you are instructed to share codes from birth. As you move through life, you leave a blueprint of movement on earth, creating energy, frequency, healing, and light. He said, we can track this and watch the places after you've been and see the results. So after you've been to a place and you've shared your codes and you've walked on the ground, they can watch it and see how much it changes and what work you've done there by the sharing of your feet and codes on the ground. And it's true. You know, you go back to a place after you've been there and you haven't been, say, back for 5 years, and it's different. It's changed because you know what? You've been there before. You've shared your codes. You've done the work. You're just going back to check. It doesn't remain the same. It's shifted because you've already shared your codes there. And he said, remember the saying, nothing remains the same. Once you've put your feet on the ground, you've shifted it. You've moved the energy. That's your mission, to share your codes on earth. That's why I always say I'll come and visit you. I've got to put my feet on the ground there. That is why when you return back to a place you once have been seems not the same, as you shed codes that left it open to energy and for it to shift change. And he said they can track that. And he said the galactics and everybody can track where you've been from your codes. It's like a map of where you've been through your life, places you've stepped on. How incredible is that?
So it's really interesting.
I know, instead of having a foot map, they've got a code map of where you've been, and it traces and tracks you. So much for worrying about who's tracing and tracking you on, the internet and your technology. Yeah. They've already been tracking you since birth anyway.
Oh.
He said, go get a foot map anyway. He said, it's very important for you to know and understand the parts of the body. And he said the ancient Chinese were the ones that knew what part of the foot was connected to what. So you get the true Chinese medicine foot map.
Probably where the saying comes, every step matters.
Exactly. That's right. That's a good one too. Every step does matter because of where you're sharing your coding. He told me about the little toe. He said it's connected to the ears and eyes. So the little toe, and you know how it sort of sits like that at the end of the foot, curled under, it's protecting your eyes and your ears. So if you have issues with your eyes or your ears, go massage your little toe.
Right.
The next two are, so your one next to your little toe and your middle toe is connected to your fontanelle and your sinuses all through here. And of course, the little toe sitting next to it is across here. So you sort of see how it works. He said it's really interesting. You've been in dusty ground, so you've had your feet on the ground and you've been in dusty ground. That's when you start to get your allergies or dust related issues. As if you've had bare feet and you start getting sinus and things like that when you've been out in the grass or amongst the pollen and everything. It's not because your sinuses and everything are allergic. It's because it's traveled through your foot up and affected your sinuses and given you allergies. How interesting is that? Only when you've got bare feet, not when you've got shoes on. And that's when he said, watch your footwear. Watch what footwear you're wearing because it's poisoning you. Gotta wear good footwear. Big toe, head, brain, nerves in the head. Trinestinal nerve, is that it? He was trying to tell me what it's called. I think it's that nerve that runs down there.
This is big toe.
Yeah. Remember they used to say to you when you were a kid, stub your toe, bruise your brain. And we used to say that at school. Someone would go for a fall or stub their toe, especially when you were wearing flip-flops. We go, oh, watch out. You'll bruise your brain. That's where it came from. Grounding bare feet, rolling on pebbles, crystals, smooth stones to activate the body and its organs. Walking on flat rocks. Over the world, ancient ones cleanse and wash with oils, soak with minerals. So again, the massaging of the feet, walking on crystals, walking on flat rocks. I mean, who's had a hot stone massage? I mean, how beautiful does that feel? Right? So imagine that on the base of your feet.
Yeah. Actually, we had something like that at Rotorua in the hot pools there, where they've got this section where you can just walk on the stones, and it massages your feet as you walk along. It's like a foot walk. Yeah. And the Polynesian spa pools. Yeah.
Wow. So they know. So
you really feel it when you walk on them. They're not shut and flat.
That's why it hurts.
Feeling,
it's activating the inside of your body. It's not the foot that hurts, it's part of the body that it's activating. So he's given me the ingredients for soaking with mineral salts, Epsom salts, magnesium flakes. He said magnesium salts, and I said, do you mean the flakes? And he said, yes. So
flakes. Oh,
yeah, they're like in a box, and they're like flat flakes.
I've got the crystal. Okay.
I used to use them quite a bit. They were really good. Clove oil, walnut oil, and lavender oil. So either one of those work, depending on what you want to. They all have a different purpose, he said, or you put all three together. Now, when I go to Jilly to get my foot spa done in the past, she used to massage after the treatment. She'd put our feet on hot marbles and hot water, which was absolutely beautiful. The same thing on, little stones. And then she'd rub our feet and massage them in lavender oil. So I went out and got some because that's what I do now at home with my foot spa, rub my feet in lavender oil afterwards. But how many of us have Epsom salts to bathe in and magnesium flakes? You know how good you feel after you've had that done. So it's good for your feet. In fact, Sharon, when you came to New Zealand last time, you brought your Epsom salts with you.
Yes.
Oh, so she knew. Okay, so feet activation. So this is what we have to do. And I'm going to have to show you. So I think I might have to stand up and show you, because it's all a movement and in a circle. Now, as he said, how they used to share their codes and everything in ancient times was you went in a circle. All the ancient dances, rain dance, tribal dances are all in circles, stomping. You look at even the modern day powwow is done in bare feet and in a circle. And so what you do is you get into the circle because you're creating that portal of frequency of energy, and you have to stomp to bring those codes through into the ground. You're almost banging it in. Anyway, he gave me the words for the light language for it. And it's really interesting because what's the song the Seven Dwarfs sing?
Hi ho, hi ho. Soft to work we go.
Well, it's he, he, ho, he. So they knew. But he, being the E, is a much, as we know, as the higher vibration letter. So it wasn't the O, it was the E, but it does have ho in it. So he, ha, ho, ha, he. So again, I'll give it to you. He, he, ho, he, ho, ha, he. Now you should start to feel your feet vibrate. Mine were vibrating while I was doing this. So what you got to do is you got to be walking around in a circle, stomping, saying those words. Then you get to a point where you're moving faster because now you're bringing in the code circulation. So what he means by that is the circulation goes down into the ground and then it comes back up again. So down into the ground, back up again, and out to the creator, into the universe, those new codes. So they're not just in the ground. You're transmitting them back up through you and out. Moving faster now, bring in the code circulation. He, 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 ha, ho. Okay, you should start feeling your feet. Mine are going already. So, ha, ha, he, ha, he, ha, ho. And that's asking for that circulation to happen. It's transmitting code. Slow stomping like a march at this point. So you've done your stomping, you've done your moving fast stomping, like a child having a tantrum. You're going, you're moving that circulation in. Now you're slow marching. Why did the soldiers march? Because they were marching their codes into the other land. Okay, so we're marching in a circle. This is the rest of the activation. May the light travel through me to the land of Gaia and be sheared to enlighten the codes for change and realignment of new. May Gaia's light re-enter through my feet to enlighten my energy frequency to receive from above. Almighty Creator, be one in love like oneness. So again, that whole transmission. May my feet be light, love, and all that is in oneness for my health and my body, to support my body as a temple of light, to continue in the change of earth, my mission and purpose, to carry out service and to create the change needed. How powerful is that?
Mm.
As I place a step on the ground, may it make the changes, transmit what is needed from one's consciousness to all that is in pureness, love, light, and eternal love. So that's what you're doing. As you place your feet on the ground and you're marching every step, you're making change. You're transmitting what is needed from oneness consciousness to all that is in pureness, love, light, and eternal love.
Wow.
And to finish that, He ha, he ha ho, he ha ho, he ha. And then there's a paragraph here. Please, Creator, activate my feet to do what is needed from you, to be the true code transmitter of light and oneness. I love my feet and honor my feet today. Thank you. How beautiful is that?
Wow.
So I'll probably have to do a little demo like I did with the heart one. But it is very powerful, and it's for us to move our feet and to do the true transmission that they were meant for. Not only are they to balance our temple, but they are to transmit code so that we bring light back into earth when it was meant to be here. So it's a pretty powerful role our feet have. Not only does it keep us steadfast and walking and moving and looking after our organs, it transmits codes. It's like our hands do, you know, in healing.
Yes.
I was astounded by just what our feet do. They are pretty powerful. And that's why when you stand in the water, you make you feel alive. You know, everything feels, you know, everything tingles, everything feels beautiful. It's the same when you soak yourself in Epsom salts and things.
Yeah.
Any questions?
What a lot of information about our feet.
About our feet.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's why drummers, you know, from all these tribes, you see them drumming, right? They're boom, boom. Like you look at Alice with her big drum, boom, 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 boom. And they're in bare feet and they're marching. They're actually stomping. Boom, 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 boom. It's all frequency.
Yeah.
When there is a need to wear shoes, obviously rubber soles is not the best. What is the best form of?
Well, you know, I was talking about this the other day because it's taken me 2 days to bring this information through. But if you look at the modern day powwow, they still wear their moccasins, which is a skin type shoe.
Yeah, animal skin.
And I wear Birkenstocks, which are cork, which is better than rubber, obviously.
Yeah.
Anything that's natural, obviously.
Wow.
Because in the days when we didn't have shoes, and I'm talking about, you know, the enchanted forest, the Sherwoods, you know, the Robin Hood days, they wore bark. They'd strip the bark off the trees and they tied the bark around their feet with obviously, you know, like a flax-like leaf.
Wow. I was just visualizing walking around with that uptown.
People. Oh, Lord. I mean, you look at all the drawings and illustrations of the past. You've only got to look what's on their feet. Even the the days of when they wore those pointed shoes and they curled up at the end. They were like leaves and things.
Then you had periwinkles that went.
That's it. Yeah. So, the part of the foot has always been a big part of us, but we've just forgotten. Again.
Yeah.
It's all that programming, it's all what's been happening over the years and generations. And I mean, New Zealand used to wear sheepskin on their feet. What's happened to that? Where's all the sheepskin slippers and sheepskin, what are they called, those big boots?
Ugg boots.
Yeah.
Ugg boots.
They cut the arm and a leg. That's what's happened.
Yeah, well, there's that too.
Sent it out to China to be made and brought back and then charge more.
Mm.
But yeah, that's what they used to wear. I mean, you look at people, the Eskimos and that, they wear skins. So,
Japanese wore wood.
That's right. So did the Dutch, the clogs.
Yeah.
I know, but then when you talk about skins, I'm sorry, I just have to bring the obvious.
Yeah.
The animal has to die.
Yeah.
But that's the purpose. That's their soul. That's their soul mission to give
But
you.
I guess if they're eating the flesh, then it's the whole carcass of the animal is being used and respected and all that.
Yeah, there is no sort of waste, nothing.
There's no wastage, yeah. Everything has a purpose.
Yeah.
It's done in love and honour. It's not done slaughtering like today.
Yeah.
The old way.
Humane and, respect.
That's it, respect, thank you. Hawk.
We're
hawk. So and we'll go back to that at some point. I mean, we know what's best for our feet, what's comfortable for our feet. I mean, how many of us have bunions and feet problem because of the shoes we wear today? You look back at the people that used to have beautiful feet in the ancient times. So give or take, it's a matter of that. Okay, today we're doing the foot activation. Bare feet. I'll start with bare feet. If you can hear me. Feet activation. And this is from the two gnomes. And they are connected to the foot activation due to the fact that gnomes stomp. And they connect to the ground because they're closer to the ground, to Gaia energy, that kind of thing. And they talk about the stomping in the feet actual activation recording. Anyway, we've got Macky and Rexcy, and they taught me this activation. It's very old, and it's all about the stomping, the marching, the sharing the feet codes. And as you put your feet on the ground and you step, the consciousness light comes through and shears into the ground, into Gaia, and then it reverses around, comes back up and out to the universe. So it's a recycling of light. Okay, let's get started. Feet. And first of all, bare feet and stomping. So you're stomping like you're stomping grapes. Stomp, 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 stomp. And you're really pushing your feet down into the ground, into Gaia. So stomping. And you say these words. He, 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 he. O, E. O, E. Moving faster now, so you're going like this, like jogging on the spot. Moving faster now to bring in the code activation. So you're moving very fast because you're bringing in the code activation. Okay? He 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 Ho. Slow stomping like a march. And you say these words. So as I do my slow stomping, I'll come up closer so you get the words. May the light travel through me to the land of Gaia and be shared to the enlighten codes for change, realignment of new. I have to stop because I can't read the words. May Gaia's light re-enter through my feet to enlighten my energy frequency, to receive from above. Almighty Creator, be one and love like oneness. May my feet be light, loved and all that it is, and oneness for my health and my body, to support my body. And if you think about it, your feet do support your body. As a temple of light, to continue in the change of earth, my mission and purpose, to carry out service, to create the change needed. As I place a step on the ground, you're slowly marching, remember. As I place a step on the ground, make the changes, transmit what is needed from oneness consciousness to all that is in pureness, love, light, and eternal love. He ha, he ha, ho. He ha, ho, he ha. Please, Creator, activate my feet to do what is needed from you to be the true code transmitter of light and oneness. I love my feet and honour my feet today. Thank you. Slowly marching. And putting it into the ground. Love your feet, everyone.